Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the CU Morning Show. It's past 8 in the a.m., and it's finally time for our morning discussion. I mentioned at the top of the program that I was a bit distracted because I was playing a game. I still am, by the way, because I'm on level 3 now.
As well. That looks so much fun.
I'm on a break part of it. I'm on the storytelling part of it as well. But earlier I had to make a whole bunch of food.
I saw that.
Yes.
You were on a roll.
So I don't know if you guys are aware, I did mention it at the top of the program, that Indonesia is actually the third largest gaming ecosystem in the world, producing 25 trillion per year. Now, this number is actually expected to rise next year in 2024, as mobile gamers in the world currently are spending approximately 1.64 billion US dollars, and they download almost 1.2 billion games per week.
That's a lot of games. Now, however, data also shows that most of Indonesians still play games produced by foreign production companies. In fact, there are a bunch of local games that are equally interesting and educating, just like the game we were playing right before. So without further delay, let's get to know more about it and talk more about the local game industry with Studio Gambir CEO and founder Shafiq Husein. Good morning, Shafiq.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Thank you for
having me.
Of course.
Okay, so let's first talk about this game before we talk more about your gaming company.
Right.
This game is called Salera Nusantara,
It
which
is,
is the taste or the flavor of Nusantara.
Nusantara.
Just by the title, you can already guess that it's around cuisine that is local.
Local,
It's basically
Indonesian
local cuisine,
cuisine,
Indonesian cuisine. So it's very relatable, by the way, because the first round I had to make nasi goreng, which is fried rice.
Yes.
It's set in a warung. It's Mbak Siska that owns the warung. So this lady who runs, and basically she's an entrepreneur that has to provide iced tea and fried rice. But eventually there's a story that goes along with it as we learn more about. There's Mbak Siska, and there's the setting.
It is.
So as you learn more about
nasi goreng.
yes. And her customers, you know, the story goes where the customers are asking about her recipe that she learned from her grandmother. You start to be able to make more and more dishes, and eventually you have to earn more and more coins and grow your warung. So
Exactly.
tell us the inspiration behind Salera Nusantara.
Okay, so my mom has always said that you have to touch people's heart by using their tummies first.
That's the best
That
way
is
to
true.
start. Very
right?
true.
And back then that Gambir is producing a lot of games like inspired with the Indonesian culture and cuisines. We have the Bubur Ayam Express. We have the, as you can see that the Bubur Ayam is there, and we have the Kolak Express as well. And back then that we think that maybe we have to combine all of that instead of making a separate titles, that we have to put it on one game, and which is we call the Salera Nusantara. So we bring the food from Sabang to Merauke, and we try to like bring the Indonesian culture from the cuisine as well. And we put another story that you've mentioned, that because we want to represent Indonesia youth generations as well for the Salera Nusantara.
Right.
So it does have a story element, the Mbak Siska and her origin story, how she came to open up this warung, and then you find out about her background in the process.
Yeah.
And I also love that it's got that educational factor to it as well. So you're not only playing the game, but you're also sort of inserting that cultural, how do you say it? Aspect to it, so that kids of this generation can know more, not just about the food itself, but also what goes behind it. Now, what inspired you to sort of focus on having this theme specifically on Indonesian cuisine? Is it based on your love for Indonesian cuisine?
Well, actually, we think that Indonesia is very rich about the culture itself. And we saw that, like you mentioned at the very first place, that we have a very big market. But the players on the industry itself, we are focusing, trying to tap into the global market.
Right.
But from the global market, they're trying to tap into Indonesian market because
they know how many gamers are playing. Of course.
Exactly. And we saw that the opportunity is there. And we think that, okay, this is a very small player that people are focusing, doing some kind of the local content, especially for the game. But if we see that from the movies or music, that they are very local-oriented content, and celebrities as well. So yeah, I think that there's a possibility and there's an opportunity on that field, so why not?
Okay, I'll tell you what really kind of hit home for me. I've played games that have a similar kind of goal, where you have to serve customers and you have to make food, and it's kind of speed.
Yeah.
You have to kind of manage your timing. But it's always been making like burgers or fries.
Yeah.
And like the reason I got hooked on this immediately is because, oh, I eat this food. Like this is like a day-to-day food that we normally
It
eat,
is,
right?
it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
that's
if
what
you
makes it
realize that we're using like all of the Indonesian chefs' names, that we have Siska, we have
Yes.
Arnold, we have
Oh,
Renata
yeah.
Correct,
as well.
correct. They're famous chefs. Exactly. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Gambir Studio.
Right.
It's basically a 1 in a million studio game production in Indonesia. Why do you choose to center? Because behind us you can see there's one with Ivan Gunawan, by the way,
Yes.
famous Indonesian designer. You mentioned Bubur Ayam Express, Masuk Pak Eko. Not only are some of the titles like familiar phrases, you have like Indonesian celebrities.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a large market. We mentioned
Yeah.
that as well here in Indonesia. A lot of them do download just the more popular games, whatever my friends are playing at that time. We do know that COVID caused a lot of people to also start playing games where
Yes.
normally
Yeah.
they never used to.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah. So how are you capitalizing on this momentum? Because we know that some of the major tournaments for gaming is still some of those foreign games.
Right.
But how is it going to capitalize on the Indonesian market so far? Are you able to now reach some of those markets that you weren't able to before by using this strategy?
Okay, so technically that, like I've mentioned before, that we saw the opportunity for Indonesians' local
Yeah.
content, of course. Like, we have, right now that we already have like 20 million plus users for Indonesian
right?
market.
Wow.
Yes, and it's growing organically because we don't spend like, that much of the marketing costs to promoting the game as well.
good.
And yeah, we saw the opportunity, and we think that the players on the industry for doing the local content is very small, and we think that we know our own market better than anyone
Of course.
else,
Yes.
right? Because we live here, and and the local content is not only based on the cultural. We don't have to use like wayang or something that very difficult to people to understand. But we are using something
Everyday.
that is like everyday
Yeah.
things that for you. I mean, like bubur ayam, like who doesn't know about the
Yeah.
bubur ayam, right? And the Salera Nusantara, that we try to bring like Indonesian culture from Sabang to Merauke, and well, everyone in Indonesia will be like feels like home.
Yeah.
Maybe you
feel
work
like the game was made for you. That's
Yeah.
what it is,
it
right?
is, it is, it is. And the background story of this game as well is very, like, we are involving the community as well to be on the game.
It's a
Right.
very interesting strategy because a lot of gaming companies that I know in Indonesia are trying to emulate the success of foreign companies
Yeah.
by
Right.
creating like, okay, these are the
This
RPG style, this is the way that everybody likes it, but you
Right.
guys have gone in a completely different direction.
It's totally different, yeah.
Different direction indeed, and I think you really tapped in on that opportunity. But with taking that direction, did you face any obstacles?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, the problems that maybe starts because sometimes it's too local for like a foreign players that they don't know about the fried catfish or
Right.
the nasi gorengs and stuff. But I think that if you're engaged with the gameplay, if you're engaged with the story itself, that people will learn about the Indonesian culture, like
Through the
willingly.
Through the game, yeah.
Through the game and willingly, that they
Yeah.
want to know more. This is not, we saw that this is not only the game, this is the tools that if we want to like introducing our culture to a global market.
Right. Now, with that being said, is it only in English or is it in two languages?
We have both language. So
Yeah.
you have Indonesian and we have
Mine's in English, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kinda
why I
weird.
noticed that. That's why I
Francisca
was
speaks very good
wondering.
English.
So,
So-
we have the Indonesian versions of it as well.
Right.
In fact, you know, whether or not you want to decide if this was a good strategy, we do know that in 2021, Salera Nusantara was chosen as the 2021 Best Android Game
Yeah.
for Best Indies in Google Play, Southeast
is.
Asia featured, and many, many more.
Yeah.
So how are you going to, what lessons have you taken from creating this in order to kind of apply this to other projects that you guys are working on? Because obviously this is not the only game you have.
I know, and you know what? That we are the only one to get the nominee from Indonesia for that award, and we are the only Indonesian game developer, and we won. And I mean, like, we bet the Pokemon Go and Free Fire back then. I mean, like, the users is
Do you
crazy.
think it's because it's very localized and they appreciated that? They're like, okay, this is something that is.
Well, it's a player choose.
Oh, the players.
Yeah,
have
the
voted.
players choose us. I mean, like it's
right?
it's a people choice award
Okay.
as well. So yeah.
Better. Yeah, even better.
So and we think that because we listen to our community,
Right.
we even have the WhatsApp group to our community in Nusantara. Is
Oh wow. How many people are in that WhatsApp?
we have a lot, like we have hundreds.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like WhatsApp group, how could be more Indonesian than having a WhatsApp?
You're right. Good point.
And we listen to them directly. We listen to the people that are reviewing our games, and of course that we're reading the metrics of the game as well.
Yeah.
The indirect feedback from the metrics that we already have, but the most important thing is that we listen to our users. Sometimes that we ask them on the group that, okay, what food that you want to see on the
Okay.
Salera Nusantara?
Simple.
Okay, so people from Aceh will comment their food. Some people from Java will be.
Gudeg.
Yeah. Well, we have gudeg and we have angkringan as well.
Wow.
There you go.
And yeah, we listen to them, and this is the most important thing because they think that they've heard,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
they think that very emotional, like they have the emotional connections with the game as well. It's not only the game that they give us, like like the something that we can connect
And it's
with
a
our
two-way
players.
street, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it is, and it still keep updating. And Siska is represent like a lot of Indonesians who want to be struggle with the business,
Yeah.
Yes.
trying to be an
yes.
entrepreneur. Yeah,
And
stuff
I mean,
that.
like, can you imagine if you're like, oh, I would like to see Mi Aceh on the menu, and then you update your game, and then suddenly
And it's there.
You,
Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
and I mean
That was
like
me.
exactly, and the player will like promoting your game free
Right.
Right.
because they think that okay, this is the menu from my city,
Right.
so they want to be heard as well.
That's
a
very
really
cool
good
as well.
strategy.
Yeah. So outside of Salera Nusantara, you've
Yeah.
also released a new game. It's entitled Knight versus Giant: The Broken Excalibur. So this sounds
Yes.
like something completely different. Tell us about that.
It is, see?
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
We just launched it like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Like actually, the Night vs Giant, it's there before the Salera Nusantara, before the
Okay.
Bubur Ayam. We put that on the gold chest that we have, and because we think that maybe our skills back then is not it's not there enough because it's another level. You can play the game. It's not only for mobile. It's not on mobile yet, but you can play on the PS5. You can play on the Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Mac. It's for a global market.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that is why, like, shout out to our publisher, PCube. They're based in UK.
Okay.
They're helping us to, like, to developing the game, give us like insight
Right.
for the game, the marketing strategy, because it's totally different. It's a premium games. It's for the global market, but we don't want to lose our core. So that is why, like, we put Indonesian culture on the game as well, even though it's Arthurian story, but we still have to use like the Indonesian culture,
Such as?
yes, the giant is inspired by the Indonesian urban legend Buto Ijo.
Oh no.
Yeah, and some kind of the little monsters that we are using like the Indonesian national costume, like we're using the Indonesian florals and stuff, and the music itself we are using a gamelan.
Oh wow. Okay.
Come on, I love that.
I
so
know.
You're still incorporating. that
Yes,
Indonesian heritage.
it's very subtle, it's
Yeah.
very soft because we don't want to like forcing people to like something like that. But yeah, it's another level. It's roguelite.
But still, it's a good way for you to, once again,
Yeah.
kind of subtly introduce our local culture to
Yeah.
the world. So one more thing, we want to show you this article that our team was able to find. Have a look at it, and I want to get your thoughts on it. This was from a local media there. Republik Indonesia kehilangan 30 triliun rupiah akibat banyak anak muda main game asing. So Indonesia loses approximately 30 trillion rupiahs. I assume this is a yearly number based on the younger generation playing foreign games. So that's about $2 million per year. That is a large chunk of money for people either buying games or spending on in-game purchases to the foreign markets. So what are your thoughts on this particular number?
Woo. It's a very classic problem, actually. Well, not a problem, but we saw that as a challenge for us. It means that it proves, it's validate that our market is that big.
Right.
So it's also like stimulates us to like making creating like the unique product that we can try to tap in.
Right.
Because sometimes that people play the foreign games just because they have like a very big marketing market. They can use, you know, some kind of activations and
There's ads everywhere.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you open any social media, the
Yeah,
ads is
I get it.
and they try to like, you know, making a very big community with the big
Sure.
budgets and stuff. But
Yeah.
Indonesian developer, I don't think that we are that big enough.
We're not on that level.
Yeah, so we're not on that level yet.
Okay.
And so that is why that we need like support from the government to like facilitating us with as a local developer to create some kind of this stuff. But yeah, I think that we try to bring another way around, like you said. I mean, we are approaching people on the other way. Like we touch them by
Yeah.
heart, not from the technologies that we
Right.
have, but we want to make people feel like home when they're already home. Yeah.
I like the word you used earlier, which is organic, because
Yeah.
that's the best way to grow something.
It
may
is.
not be the fastest, but it's the best way to get loyal.
It's slowly but
Slowly
sure.
but sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much for coming by. Congratulations.
you.
And thank you for introducing me to this game
Yes.
because I'm going to download this on my kid's
I'm gonna
phone.
download this
Oh,
after.
thank you.
Because she
You
loves
have
these
to
kind of
try the Night for the Giant as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely will do.
Awesome.
Thanks
Let me what
again.
you guys think.
All right, we're going to take another short break here, you guys, but do stay with us because we have some recaps from our earlier segments in case you joined us late. We'll be right back after this.